Hello, I'm Michael Dorn, Executive Director for Safe Havens International. In this video podcast, we're going to explore the correlation between test scores and safety. While most adults realize that test scores and academic achievement are obviously impacted by safety or lack of safety in schools, many educators don't realize how powerful the correlation is, and thus what a powerful tool safety is to raise test scores. In many schools, it's the most powerful way to influence test scores. The State of California Department of Education has tracked test scores and safety in about 1,700 secondary schools in the state for more than a decade, and they found a direct correlation between safety and perceptions of safety and academic achievement. In fact, they say that the top schools academically in California are also the safest schools. One California Department of Education official cited in the study says that it is in many cases, as I said earlier, the best way to influence and improve test scores in schools. We know that safety influences test scores and academic achievement in a number of ways. First, fear is one of the greatest barriers to learning that exists for human beings. So when we can remove that barrier, students can focus on their studies and focus on what a teacher is saying and thus learn. We know that it influences turnover among staff, and in a country, if you're watching from the U.S., where we pay $49 billion a year just for teacher turnover, not counting support staff, and this, by the way, doesn't count retirements, this can be a big issue. We lose 1,000 teachers a day forever who leave the field due to various reasons, including safety in the United States, again, not counting retirements, and 1,000 more change jobs to seek a better place of employment in many cases. We know that we can influence the truancy and dropout rate by reducing fear, because fear significantly impacts both of these. We know that there's a tremendous amount of fiscal waste in many schools due to vandalism and other incidents that cost schools actual dollars that could be better spent on ways to improve learning. We know that we lose a lot of time on task in schools, not just in the U.S. but around the world, due to disruption and safety incidents such as bullying and fights in classrooms. So if we can reduce the lost time on task, we can of course improve the ability to teach and the ability of students to learn. And we know that we lose a lot of time due to staff being injured and students being injured in safety incidents, and not just those commonly highlighted by media events such as acts of violence, but simple accidents in schools. For example, a calculus teacher who has a workplace injury may not be able to teach for 6 months while they recover. And we have to pay a substitute teacher who's less qualified and less connected to those students to carry on teaching. So this will obviously impact test scores. So we know that improving safety can improve test scores. We might want to make this year's focus improving test scores through improvements in safety. Thank you so much for what you do to make our schools safer. Thanks for your dedication and your concern. Have an awesome 2009.